Help. Didn't get hooked. Woke up naked in the middle of the city. Decided to wander around, maybe find some food. Saw some hobos fighting. Waited it out and looted a stick and some underwear. Went back home and started playing Kenshi. The saddest thing is when you tell your friends you're playing Kenshi, but they hear Genshin. I was kept in sexual slavery for 22 days. A newbie in this game won't be led by the hand, it'll get ripped off instead. I played this game for hours, for days. Every free moment away from work, I poured into it, not even noticing how my relationship with my girlfriend was falling apart, how everything around me was going to hell. In the end, she left me, I lost my job, and now I'm dealing with the draft office trying not to get conscripted. But you know what? I built the strongest squad, wiped out the Holy Nation, overthrew the empire of the United Cities, captured every most wanted criminal, and killed Catlon. I became a new legend in this brutal, unforgiving world. Launched the game, got my ass kicked. Got up, got my ass kicked again. Got up, kicked again. Mined some copper, got my ass kicked and ended up in slavery. Tried to escape more ass kicking. Escaped, got my ass kicked on the way to town. Got up, made it to the city, rested and ate. Left the city, got my ass kicked. Came back, hired some companions, we all got our asses kicked. Quit the game, no ass kicking. Started thinking. Only 10 hours in, and I've already lost my virginity. Got enslaved. Leveled up my skills in slavery. Beat the crap out of my slave master. Became a lone samurai. Got the crap kicked out of me by some mercs. Died. Discovered the save function. 10/10. Save your game, boys. Your moms still need you. I had everything one could possibly wish for in this world. Nutritious food, clean water, a solid roof over my head, a private place to sleep, a meaningful job that hardened both body and spirit, and above all, a constant sense of safety. For bandits to get to me, they'd have to deal with my many guards, all ready to lay down their lives to protect me. I had quite literally achieved everything I once dreamed of. There was only one thing that bothered me. The shackles chafed my ankles a bit. Committed genocide on half the continent, enslaved the other half, shattered world order, wiped out a couple of nations, and made the global economy totally dependent on hashish and booze supplies. Then I logged into the game. 10 beaten up hobos out of 10. P.S. Can't drop nukes minus rep. I was running back and forth between two towns, stealing stuff in one and selling it in the other. My money grew along with my athletic skill. Decided to buy an animal from some wandering traders to have a companion. After handing over the money, they got hostile, so I tried to make a run for it. The dog got caught and badly injured, couldn't escape. Athletics was 0. My character ran to the town, dragging a horde of bandits behind him. The locals jumped into the fight, killed all the bad guys, and I looted everything from them and sold it. Bought some bandages. Went back for the dog and brought it to town. Bandaged its wounds, and it healed just like on a human. Escaped slavery under the Holy Nation. Endured pain and humiliation. Found my first friends. Lost them in a clash with cannibals. Found new friends. Built a camp with them. Started growing hemp and selling hashish. Made a decent fortune. Lost the camp, my friends, and my arm after a Holy Nation raid. Wandered into the desert in search of food and safety. Ended up enslaved again, this time in a United Cities mine. Escaped, freed the prisoners, and killed a noble, with one hand. Found the tech hunter's city and bought myself a new arm. Assembled a third squad out of ex-slaves and trained them hard. We grew stronger, and stronger still. A couple of us got eaten by beak things, but their eggs were worth it. Found Beep. Joined Beep. Upgraded the squad with top-tier gear and armor. Crushed the Holy Nation, freeing slaves and killing anyone who resisted. Fed Lord Phoenix to the Fogmen. All of this in a game with no story. And I can hardly imagine a story-driven game with a plot more compelling or moments more intense. 10/10. In this game, you can get your ass kicked by anything that moves. Steal a piece of meat from a canteen and have an entire nation put a bounty on your head. Lose a limb and crawl for 2 hours to a town that doesn't even sell prosthetics. Get your ass kicked again. Be eaten alive by local wildlife right after getting your ass kicked. Build a base with walls and turrets and get your ass kicked during a raid by bandits, cannibals, beasts, the Empire's tax squad. Become a slave and enjoy your daily dose of ass kickings. Start a farm and sell certain goods in town, only to get your ass kicked by the police. Become a martial arts master and start dishing out ass kickings, but only after receiving 3 times more of them first. Take pictures of beautiful desert landscapes. Overthrow a government, reducing cities to ruins, but likely get your ass kicked by their armies first. Form a duo, trio, squad, army, all of whom will also get their asses kicked. End up enslaved again. Fire crossbows at enemies until they get close enough to kick your ass. Buy a goat that fights for you and gets its ass kicked with you. Get eaten by cannibals. Basically, that's what the game is all about. Being eaten alive, enslaved, imprisoned, or just straight up dying. In other words, getting your ass kicked. 10 tenths. So I created my first character and spawned in this ruined town called the Hub, where for some reason the only intact building left is the bar. I walked around the city, picked up empty bottles from people sitting by campfires, and went looking for someone to sell them to. Turns out the bartender is the only person in the entire town you can trade with everyone else, is either a guard or a drifter. Sold the bottles, recruited some crazy guy as a companion for free, and walked out of the bar. Suddenly, I see a crowd passing through the city. Thought they were local guards. I mind my business when one of them suddenly goes, "Hey you, come here, we need to talk." I suspected something was off, but approached anyway. Guy asks for money. I refuse. Next thing I know, the whole group, like 10 of them, jumps my party. We leg it. No idea where I'm running, so I head back to the bar. Dash inside, the whole gang follows. The bar guards, along with the bartender, charge into the fight. Meanwhile, me and my crazy buddy are sprinting around the bar tables, trying to dodge a few stragglers. Once the guards dealt with most of the thugs, they helped clean up the ones still chasing us. Then we finished off the crawling ones ourselves. When the dust settled, I noticed the bartender crawling out the door with a broken leg, calling for help. I couldn't heal him while he was moving, and I had no idea where he was headed. By the time I'd looted all the bandits and stashed the gear in a corner, the poor guy had dragged himself out past the city walls and collapsed under some mountain. I rushed over. He was lying in a pool of blood, dying. I used an entire medkit just to stop the bleeding and patch him up. I wanted to carry him back to town, but for some reason that counted as kidnapping, and I didn't want to risk it, so I left him there. Back at the bar, the guards were dumping bandit corpses by the entrance. A few days later, the bartender finally came out of his coma and immediately started crawling back to town. His leg had fallen off by then. He dragged himself back inside, shouted, "Oh, a new customer!" and lay down behind the counter, ready to trade again, like nothing happened. 10 one-legged bartenders out of 10. Kenshi is an abusive girlfriend. She will give a dog and let you hang out with your friends at first. Then as time goes on, you realize that your 5 buddies you started with are thinning in numbers. She'll lead you on for 19 hours of playtime and a single save. Then, when you get a little ambitious, she will knock you unconscious, take your dog, and eat it in front of your eyes, as casually as if she's just stealing your french fries. She'll hit you a lot. She'll make you think you're the weakest piece of garbage on earth, and you'll take it because, hey, maybe it was your fault. I enslaved the dictator of a nation hell bent on the destruction of all robots. Once enslaved, I systematically removed his limbs and replaced them with robot limbs, essentially making him a living embarrassment to his entire nation. My plan backfired. His hatred fueled him, and when he escaped, he beat the Lomenso out of my villagers with his hardened steel hands and feet. 11 tenths. Possibly the best RPG I've ever played. I decided to start out as a one-armed naked man in the middle of a desert. Found the nearest town, tried stealing some clothes, got tossed in prison, tried stealing clothes again, got tossed in prison again, was sold into slavery, forced to work in rock mine. After waiting for my injuries from the various beatings I had taken at this point to heal, I, using the high lockpicking skill I had acquired from being in cages for days, proceeded to free 10 other slaves from their shackles and attempt an escape. In other words, I used the 10 other slaves as a distraction for the guards while I ran for my life. Once the guards had stopped chasing me, I started heading towards another town. Managed to find some clothes on a dead body outside the town to hide my slave-like appearance. Began putting my mining skills to use gathering copper outside of the town. Began building my funds while waiting for my slavehood status to be forgotten. Eventually, I stumbled into someone whose wife had been taken by the same slavers who had captured me. He decided to join me so we can eventually wipe out the slaver scum. My slave status expires. I realize that I have a decently large bounty on my head, and have my newfound companion turn me into the authorities for the bounty. I then break out of prison and hide away in a small shack I had purchased within the town. Preparations to leave the town begin, and I acquire a dog and a weird llama-like creature for carrying cargo. Once I finish packing supplies to make a trek across the wilderness, I have my companion carry me out of the city so the guards don't notice me. We then make our way across the vast desert, narrowly escaping death by weird bug-like creatures and capture by slavers, and build a shack in a decent location to start our own town of sorts. A few days later, the taxmen show up looking for money. I spent all my money on my escape. They say I have 3 days to pay or there will be trouble. I am now panic mining copper with my buddy, while me, him, our dog, and our llama starve to death. Need to make a trek to the closest town to sell the copper before the taxmen come for me. Please send help. I started with one guy. I was then enslaved promptly. Being enslaved wasn't so bad. You get food and health benefits. Spent 1 week in game training strength, athletics, and laboring by day. Lockpick, thievery, and stealth under masters' noses by night. Tried to train assassination one night, which promptly turned into training, dodge, melee attack, defense, and martial arts. I ended up surrounded by many slavers and went down. Health benefits kicked in and they patched me up, put me back in the cage. Repeat process until I am literally an enslaved god. Release myself effortlessly from my cage and proceed to beat down entire force of slavers with bare hands. Release any slaves I find along the way who assist me in beating down previously mentioned slavers. I escaped, and many slaves joined my band outright, all of whom had good stats from being enslaved themselves so long. Beat down Holy Nation 30 days later with band of angry ex-slave martial artists. 10/10 would be a slave again. Built a house near a town. A bunch of taxmen told me I built on Empire land and that I needed to pay taxes. I told them no, and they threatened to kill me. Immediately after, a massive pack of giraffe monsters killed them all and ran off into the sunset. Absolute 10/10 would dodge taxes again. Hour 1. Ugh, man. This one might be a refund. Hour 2. Yeah, this is silly. Running around in a low-res desert, weird glitches, just ain't a good game. Hour 3. I mean, this is silly. Running from more bandits, scrapping stuff. Hour 5. I've got to keep this unit together while they mine. I'll have my auxiliaries patrolling. Hour 10. Geez, it's been a whole RL day of this. This weirdly horrible game. Weirdly amazing. Hour 20. My outpost lives on the edge of the sands and death. Traders come now and then, but overall we maintain neutral relations. Hour 25. I hope nobody visits me RL today, so that I don't get interrupted as my settlement flourishes in the wastelands. There you go. It's a tough start. It's an ugly start. It's a painful start. But every inch after that is pure glory. If you ever loved squad-based RPG, tactical fighting, think semi-Baldur's Gate-esque, well, this takes it and throws in crafting, slavery, factions, squads, crafting, and it looks like a whole lot more in the future. I understand that development has been slow on this game, so if you are not okay with bugs, early access, then hold on for now. There are definitely bugs. Some of them F stuff up. None of them have stopped my constantly growing love, enjoyment of this game. A fake, there is no story of any sort yet. It's left completely open world, open-ended, create your own story. 6/10 graphics. 6/10 sounds. 6/10 UI. 9/10 gameplay. 10/10 replayability.